The World Championship is the pinnacle of our sport.
And reaching it is the ultimate goal.
That's why we train for hours on end.
We all love to compete. There is a thrill to be the best at something, especially if we love to do that. No matter what it is, we want to be at the top, but not just for the money prize that comes with it, but for the recognition and prize to have written history in the pages of the discipline that we chose. It gives us our lives meaning to keep on pushing for the next step, craving to be better every day, looking up to the destination. However, there is a time limit to climb that mountain, and our bodies are equipped to withstand for several years the load and stress that we need to get better at something. Discipline is required if we want to have an edge on our competitors. In sports, this means to prepare physically to endure the long trainings and adapt our nervous systems to give more than usual in certain situations. On the other hand, musicians need to get better at feeling the music, practice scales, and do many rehearsals before that big performance in front of the crowd. Nevertheless, having the opportunity to train under the same circumstance as a professional is very unlikely. But in video games the story is a bit different. In video games everyone is at the same playing field. As all players have the same game, the same advantages, well, it all comes to the skill level and the level of dedication that they are willing to endure to get it. Imagine if you are a soccer player and you can practice since day one in any stadium of your choice, where you would get used to the scale and proportions of the field as well as the fear of having to play in such a big place. Well, that's exactly what happens on esports. The internet has brought a phenomenon so special that in the past it would be considered as futuristic and out of reach. People from all over the world can engage in a virtual competition. All you need is the console or your PC, the game of your choice, and an internet connection. Compare that to a traditional sport, it would take a great deal to start climbing in the same direction. So how did it all start? The first official esports was held in 1972 in a game known as Intergalactic Space War Olympics. However, the esports scene started to gain some popularity in the late 90s, but without a good internet connections and lack of sponsors and money in this media, the actual rise was in 2005, even when there was several titles that were competing for longer, and to this day they still do, such as Counter-Strike and the Halo games. The massive inclusion of players came with this generation of consoles and the titles that came with them. With video games being so popular among children and adults, it is easy to see why are they becoming one of the most lucrative and followed niches. With every year adding more and more money to the prize pool, sponsors, and overall reach. Sure, there is some challenges that comes with it, such as cheating or technical problems related to IT. But as the time goes on, companies and tournament organizers are getting better at adopting measurements to keep those at bay. We're still gonna see some cases where things didn't go as planned, but that is true for every competition, event, or award, so that's not a concern right now. The player base is increasing, and the dream of becoming an esport pro is more usual and obtainable than ever before. It is not quite at the level of a traditional sports when it comes to income and exposure, but it's only a matter of time before we can see them surpassing other kinds of media. An example of this is a player known as Ninja from the game Fortnite. He managed to get $40 million in net worth, an outstanding accomplishment for an emerging industry like this one. Or how about Faker from League of Legends? The list goes on. These are players that have accumulated a substantial amount of wealth during their past and present time in the esports scene. Also, with platforms such as YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, gamers can make an early entry to this industry. This is how they become popular and later on picked on by the organizations, so they can compete in the big stage. Or it could be also serve as a retirement plan. as all of these players leave a huge fan base, so they can still live through the game that they used to represent. Fans just don't want to stop watching them even when they don't compete anymore. Thousands or even millions of fans assist to their venues to watch their favorite teams. And for many people, especially old people, it is hard to believe that a video game is able to gather such an enormous amount of people. On the other hand, the players' parents are now much more supportive than back in the days. They are actively involved in any way they can to support their children. And in many cases, they are also protagonists in many tournaments.
Our learning on this journey, when Reddles came downstairs and said, "I need your bank account information." To which I promptly replied, "No. Why do you think you need our bank account information?" And he said, "Well, I won some money online and I need to tell them how to deposit it."
So, which games are we talking about? This is the list of the biggest esports nowadays. We can see a variety of games ranging from tower conquering games like Dota 2 or League of Legends, card games like Hearthstone, battle royales which are very popular such as Fortnite and PUBG, to soccer with cars such as Rocket League. There are games for everyone, and there are more types of game emerging to satisfy every type of player. This is quickly becoming the preferred path for youngsters to choose. And, as I mentioned before, Twitch have played a huge role in this development. They can watch every day their favorite pro training or casually playing for hundreds of hours as they imagine themselves doing the same. Pros interact with their audience, making a community out of it, and preserving the life and prestige of the game that they are playing. Well, the landscape of video games has changed forever, and there is no sign of it slowing it down anytime soon. If you can become a pro, I would say you go for it. There is nothing stopping you from getting it other than your own will and hard work. Things will go your way if you put the time to grind. We all love to follow something we enjoy doing, especially in this online era. Share your favorite esports in the comment section. What games are you currently playing, streaming, or just watching? If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.